doing a little bit of a background because some people in my Instagram are not aware of what is happening, and I'm trying to carry everybody along. Now, this constitutional force majeure has repudiated what we know as the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. By virtue of this declaration, that Constitution ceases to exist. So if we in the Alliance territories have called for this constitutional force majeure and it's already established, and we are calling for political parties within the alliance to close shop, which will bring us closer to the final step in regaining our freedom from this imposition of a union called Nigeria. If we are all speaking with one voice and we are united in our cause, then why does it appear that there are others within this alliance still clamoring for 2020 elections and presidency in 2023? This is what we're discussing today. These are more at the questions on the minds of many within the Lower Niger Territory and the other blocks of the NINAS Alliance. With me today are three very important and distinguished guests whom I will bring on in a few minutes for a roundtable discussion where we will dive deep into the nitty-gritty and the nooks and the crannies of this very important subject. So please stay with us. Thank you again for joining us. This is Volley Media, and we will begin shortly. Okay. We are live on Facebook. I just want to let you guys know on Volley Media Facebook page, we are live. We are also live on YouTube, and we are live on the Zoom link, if you got the Zoom link. And I am also live on my Instagram at IamAkuche. We are also streaming to you live. So there are so many options. Okay. Now, I'm going to introduce my first guest. I have the pleasure of having live on this program, Dr. Chukwuemeka Iranya. Dr. Chukwuemeka is an engineer specializing in pipeline oil and gas. He is based in the United States, and he is a member of NINAS and a signatory to the Constitutional Force Majeure. I also have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Tony Nnadi, who is the Secretary General of the Lower Niger Congress and a co-convener of NINAS. And third, and not the least, I have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Oludayo Shokumbi, who is a PhD scholar, a 5G antenna engineer, a public speaker, and a life coach. I want to welcome you all from wherever you're joining us all over the world. Thank you for joining us today on Volley Media. Are my guests here? Producer, can you please cut to, I'm going to start today with Dr. Iranya. I'm going to start with him. If you're there, Dr. Iranya, please unmute yourself. And while that is happening, I just want to say that since it's no longer breaking news, that the 1999 fraudulent constitution is the source of all the problems of unitary Nigeria that we're facing such as regions not having controls over their resources, the ability for the regions to generate electricity, the ports, security, and all of that. We all now know that the 1999, the defunct fraudulent 1999 Constitution is the source of all these problems, hence the declaration of the Constitutional Force Majeure in December. Since the now repudiated Constitution is skewed in the favor of the North, right? According to Section 134, subsection 2, then why are minorities, why are we hearing people like Moalu and Tinubu not closing shop and joining the alliance? Why are we still hearing them still preaching this one Nigeria upon us? That is where we're going to take this off from. And I would like to introduce again, Dr. Iranya to please come and shed a little bit more light on why this seems to be. Dr. Iranya, if you can please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thank you very much, myself, and it's my pleasure to be on this platform. And I thank everybody for finding time to be here. I got your question. The problem is mainly on basic understanding of what is responsible for the keeping of a union. how is a union established? What is that thing that establishes a union? What is that thing that makes a country to be a country or a nation to be a nation? It's only one document, and that document is called the Constitution. Our people, many of them, even those who studied law and those who claim to be leaders and political stakeholders, they do this basic fact that the Constitution is the document that affects every aspect of our lives, both private and public. If only we can understand this basic fact that you cannot move an inch without having the Constitution dictating and directing your movement. The Constitution is the say it all and be it all in a country. I wish our people can understand this. Because if they do, they will now understand that the Constitution is what affects what we do and what we don't do in a country. Let me go further. I will stop it. Let me round up with this. First of all, there has to be a constitution. Secondly, the Constitution now dictates the rules and the regulations. That's inside that Constitution is where the rules and regulations are established. And the rules and regulations include how we govern ourselves. And if it is a constitutional democracy, which is what we are all aspiring to be, to become, that constitution determines or dictates the way we ascend to power, how we get to power. So, and that is why that is very important. And let me round up with this finally before probably go to the next question. Constitution is what dictates. It is the Constitution that finally establishes what is called a union. If there is no Constitution, there is no union. This is one of the things that I want everybody who is here to take away. If there is no Constitution, there is no union. It is the Constitution that establishes the union. That is why when a Constitution is being made, it's made by those who want to unite, who want to form a union. And these are the indigenous peoples, that is people with an S behind it. The indigenous peoples, they come together and agree, first of all, to be in a union. Then, after agreeing, they now write the rules and regulations. So the question I want to ask, or I'm throwing out there before you take over, when, where, and how did we come together to form the union as being lied about in the of the 1999 Constitution? Let me stop here so far.
Thank you very much, Dr. Iraya, for that very insightful contribution. Everybody knows by now, right, that the preamble of that Constitution, where it came to say, we the people, that was the first lie, because we the people never came together. We never made a document. We never sat down to decide and put our signature to our enslavement, right? So where I really want us to focus this on is more people that are still going forward and talking about 2023 elections, when we know that every time, every 4 years when we go to an election, it renews the life of a constitution, the same constitution that is holding us slaves in our ancestral land. Now, people like Mugalo, that is he's younger in terms of the people that we have seen come to power, the Tinubus and the Buharis and the likes. Now, he's coming with this, I can help, I can turn things around, I can do. My question to you, Dr. Irania, is the Constitution says, right? I'm not a constitution scholar, but from what I understand in section 134, subsection 2, is that it talks about elections and it is skewed in the favor of the North. So how can someone from a minority, right, somebody who is not from the North, how can that person indeed get the required votes that is needed if, and this is where I draw the line, if they are not working for the North, if they are not part of the Caliphate, this same section of Nigeria that are committed to wiping the rest of us out, that are committed to committing ethnic cleansing. We are seeing everything going on with the headsmen. We are seeing everything going on with Boko Haram, ISWAP, and all of that. Is there anything you can say to that light? Because a lot of our young people are confused. A lot of our young people are asking, especially within the Alliance territory, because again, the youth are always the people that they use. The youth are the tools that they use when they are going towards these elections. When they start to publicize their intentions of running and all of that. I know currently that Kingsley Moghalu is on this rampage of recruiting youths and telling them that he's their messiah and he's going to change things around. How can you change something? Under what constitution are we talking about? Under what constitution? So let me let you get coming again, Dr. Irania. Please share it, because there are a lot of youths that are watching here. They are watching this program. They are the ones that they will give the monies to. They are the ones that they will mobilize. But we had this thing that happened last year. The whole world was aware, the EndSARS movement, where it looked like the scales had finally fallen from our eyes. And there was a slogan that I picked up from there where it says, "Our mumu don't reach. Our mumu don't reach." So this youth, on one hand, right, they know something is wrong. They want to be a part of a system that changes that. Hence the success of the EndSARS, where it was all over the place, and the illicit federal government had no other choice but to kill unarmed peaceful protesters. So these youth again are being, they are being targeted, right? They're being targeted by people like Moghalu, people coming forward to say that, we can change this country. How can you do that? Under what constitution are we talking about? Dr. Irania, please take it away.
Thank you very much. Let me answer your question in two parts. The first part is, for people like Kingsley Moghalu, either he is ignorant or he is intentionally deceptive. Let me repeat that. It is either Kingsley Moghalu and his likes are ignorant, or they are intentionally cunning. Why do I say so? One, you mentioned it already, but let me that takes me into the second part. And I am addressing the youth right now and every other person watching this program. First of all, we did not make this 1999 constitution. It is a fraud. Number one is that constitution is made by the people, not by the military. Number two is that anywhere in the world you can go to that has a properly made constitution, a constitution is always 100% of the time activated by a referendum. In other words, after writing it, after everything, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, you will now bring it out to a vote of yes or no. you have to take one of those two options. The entire citizen, the entire population will vote yes or no, we approve, or we hereby activate, or we support, or no, we don't support. At the end of the day, the vote will be tallied. If the yes majority, then the constitution becomes active. The 1999 constitution was never, ever subjected to a referendum. So that is that, and that is what I want the youth and everybody to know. The constitution is a fraud, and it was not activated by referendum. Now, going straight into your question, ladies and gentlemen watching this program, the Nigerian constitution is divided in the fraudulent 1999 constitution is divided into three parts. You have the referendum, you have the preamble, the main body, and then the schedule. The main body is called the sections. It has 320 sections and is subdivided into 8 chapters. Now, section number 134, please write it down if you're watching me. Section number 134 is the section that talks about how to declare somebody a winner of a presidential election, especially where you have 2 or more candidates. In subsection 2, that is section 134, subsection 2 of that fraudulent constitution stated that if you have 2 or more candidates, that you declare somebody a winner under 3 conditions. 3 conditions. Condition number 1, the person must score 25% of the vote cast, not registered voter, to those who really voted that day, that the person must score 25% of it in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. 20% in Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. That's number 1. Number 2, the person must score 25% of the vote in 24 states. Remember, by Britain, the military created 36 states.
That's right.
Out of the 4 regions that we agreed on 3 regions going to independence, then a 4th region was created in 1963. Again, by plebiscite and referendum. Now, the military came in and balkanized everything and created states here and there to the tune of 36. Condition number 2 is saying that the person to be declared a winner must have 25% of the vote cast. I hope people will listen to me carefully. I know there's a difference between registered voters and the vote cast. They are not the same. The vote cast, that's what I'm talking about. That is the people that actually voted on that day. 25% of them in 24 states. That's condition number 2. The third and final condition is that for somebody to be declared a winner of the presidential election, the person will now have the overall highest number of votes. That is, if they count all the votes, both the one he didn't get 25% of, or the one he got above 25%, and the one he got exactly 25%, everything added up, that person will have the highest number of votes. So three conditions must be met before somebody will be declared the winner of a presidential election. So going into your question, somebody like Kingsley Moghalu, how can Kingsley, in his right senses, thinking that he will meet up all these conditions? How can he, for goodness sake? Why is it that somebody cannot just stand up and tell himself the truth? Now, let me go further to say that in section 3 of this fraudulent constitution. That is where the number of states were listed. The number of states, if you go to section 3, subsection 1, you will see where they listed the number of states. There are 36 of them. Now, if you go to schedule 1, you will see where the states and the local government areas were listed as well. Let me shock our viewer or every people watching us with this information. Look at this. This is the number of polling units, that's voting centers, that INEC has prepared. When you look at this, I don't know how close people can see this.
Yes, we can see it, Dr. Rania. We can see it properly.
Yes, yes. When you look at it, you can see the north. It comprises all this, the blue, this one, and even this one here. The south is only this purple here, this yellow, and this green, the Yoruba side. So at the end of the day, when you look at this map, when you look at this polling unit, you are telling me that Kingsley Mooralo, if he is not deceiving people, Kingsley Mooralo is telling me that considering this polling unit, that Kingsley Mooralo is going to win a presidential election in Nigeria under section 134, subsection 2. Now, let us go further and say that the election itself is based on so-called population.
Yes.
Now, look at the north, a place filled with desert. They concocted something in I think it was 1954, the population they did. Since that, and the British, they have confessed that they actually manipulated it to favor the north. And since that time till today, the population has always been made to be larger in the north, a desert region. This is the first time in history, in geography, that you have more population in the north with desert than in the mangrove swamp. That is number one. Number two, Sister Kuche, let me shock you with this information. Any in Nigeria, any form you are filling in Nigeria, even to open a bank account, you are going to enter a column of it called state of origin. Whether you have employment, whether you are applying for anything at all, driver's license, whatever it is, there is a section of it called state of origin. Do you know that the population census form is the only form in Nigeria without state of origin?
I need to write that down. I never knew that.
Yes. The reason being that when the population census is carried out and people fill in state of origin, you know what that means? It's a simple data sorting in Excel. If you have a spreadsheet, you highlight by data and then you sort. You can sort by state of origin. And in that situation, you will now know the two people who come from somewhere. And they said that the Hausa Fulani, the Caliphate Fulani, they insisted that there will not be anything like state of origin in the census form. So that when they say Kano has 10 million, it means that everybody at that 10 million people belong to Kano State. And when you go to section 162, subsection 1 of the fraudulent constitution, you will see where it talks about sharing of money from the federation account. There are three conditions to share money from the federation account. Condition number 1 is the population of that state. Condition number 2 is the number of local government areas in that state. Condition number 3 is the size, how big a map that state is. These are the three conditions for sharing money that comes into the federation account. So a very simple example, Bayelsa produces oil. the money is sold and put into the federation account by about 8 or 9 local governments. They are definitely less than 2 million. And their area or the geographical area is not big.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
Just give an example that 10 million naira or $10 million was realized in sales of oil, and it is put, and that 10 million came from oil located in Bayelsa State. And that money is put into the federation account. When it comes to sharing that $10 million, that Bayelsa will have the same amount with Kano State that has 10 million population, the government, and like 5 times the size of Bayelsa? No way.
Yes.
So you see, these people are forward looking. That's why they make sure that the population census doesn't have
Yes.
And before then, they have created more local government area for themselves. In section 3, subsection 2, and schedule 1, part 1.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Iran. Yes, thank you, Dr. Iran, for that very, very in-depth analysis. We're going to leave it there for now. Producer, if you're ready, let us just take a quick commercial break. And then once we are back, we will bring on Mr. Tony Nadi to give us some more insights into where we are heading in the Alliance territory, especially geared towards the youth. Thank you guys so much for joining us. My name is Akuche, and this is Volley Media. We'll be right back. Producer, are you ready for us with that commercial? Okay. Just on a short commercial break. All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever you are watching this all around the world. This is Volley Media, and I am your host for tonight's program. My name is Akuche, and I have the pleasure of having 3 very distinguished guests on the program tonight. We're discussing 2023 elections and the agents of the Caliphate. How does this affect us in the Lower Niger region? How do we get our youth to be aware of of these kind of plans by the other side, trying to get us to go to elections when we know that every 4 years, when we do go to elections, renews the life of the Constitution, which has already been repudiated. Producer, if you are here, if you can hear me, I just want to confirm that we have Mr. Tony Nadi in the house. Mr. Tony Nadi, if you're here, can you please unmute your microphone?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Thank you so much. We do understand how busy you are in the fight for our freedom. We have I have some questions that I want to ask you. It's actually in 3 parts, but I want to start with, what are the implications for us as emerging nations if we do go to 2023 elections in spite of the constitutional force majeure already in place? What are the implications of that?
Right. The constitutional force majeure itself is a declaration of emergency, a declaration of a union dispute intended to wind up the union of death that Nigeria has become for its constituents. And anybody, I want the young people to listen carefully. Anybody who is telling you he wants restructuring or reconstruction or rule of law or all those things that the political parties can promise you, but who also wants to go to election one more time under this constitution that has been shown to be a fraud, that has been shown to be the source of all of what has gone wrong with Nigeria, is just being dishonest, being disingenuous, because you cannot approbate and reprobate. If you want an end to the misery that has become the lot of Nigerians trapped in Nigeria at this time under this constitution that is worse than apartheid constitution. And I say that advisedly, I say that having thought carefully through it. What we have in 1999 Constitution of Nigeria is far worse than apartheid, because in South Africa, during apartheid, the Boers were at least developing a society. I tell you, there was rule of law amongst the whites. The blacks were not being accommodated, but there was infrastructure was being developed. Schools were producing, people with skills. Healthcare system was available for those who were entitled, and all kinds. As London was being built, Johannesburg was being built. Pretoria was like all the capitals. The Boers were just trying to establish the kind of society they had, on the other side of the Atlantic, in this newfound land, more or less. But in Nigeria, the Fulani and their British sponsors, they are not developing anything because they refuse to go to school. They say Western education is an abomination. So we have people who have rejected knowledge, leading us with ignorance. And so for a country of 200 million people, we're still talking about 3,000 and 5,000 megawatts of electricity. We see, mediocrity that is being elevated to, the standard that we must all pursue. In fact, if you have knowledge and they find out, if you're in the federal ministry, in any of the federal ministries, in any of the federal agencies, if you have knowledge, you were an endangered species, they're going to throw you out. Falsehood is preferred to truth and all of that. So that constitution is responsible for all of that. And then every 4 years, we go and renew the life of it. And once more, we're being invited to go to renew the life of that constitution. That is what the election does. That's all about the elections. Yes. Now, let's bring it down to brass tacks. Let us realize that all of what we complain about in Nigeria, whether it's corruption or the killings going on everywhere, or the infrastructure that is in decay, or the quota system that has shut down opportunities. Young people running from Nigeria in all directions. Some are prepared to cross the desert trekking. They are slaves in China. They are slaves in Europe. Everywhere they go, they are running away from their home country. And so everything that has gone wrong with Nigeria, the elections that are never right, the impunity we see, everything is flowing from that constitution. And we can go to the specifics in terms of the second, and which, unless that constitution is taken down, each of those things will remain. The insecurity we see, the corruption we see, the lack of infrastructure we see, the lack of equal opportunity we see, and all of that. All of them are flowing from specific sections of that constitution.
Mr. Tony,
Mr.
Tony, sorry, I'm just going to jump in there for a second. For the benefit of the youth that are watching, and they're the ones that are being targeted, they're the ones that are being used as an instrument to go forward into this 2023 elections, but by lying to them and saying that, we need a younger person. If a younger person comes into power, that is what is going to change. Some people ask, what about this constitution is bad? I know you just touched on that, but I want us to focus on a few of them. I tell people the reason we don't have electricity is because it's in the 68. There's a 68 item exclusive list, executive exclusive list or something like that. I'm not a federal exclusive list, right? You are here, you are a professional. Can you list some key areas in that exclusive list that are responsible for everything that's going on now in Nigeria, so that the youth can hear that it doesn't matter if it's an elderly man, if it's a pope, if whoever it is, as long as that person is coming in under this 1999 constitution, fraudulent, reputed constitution, this cannot change. Can we please hone in on that? Thank you so much.
Right. What I was laying out is that everything we complain about, and we can go to the specifics. We don't have electricity, and we're not going to have electricity as long as electricity generation and transmission is in that exclusive list. Exclusive list means only the federal government can do this. And that's the reason we don't have it. If electricity generation and transmission is removed from that exclusive list today, in 6 months, all of those who have capacity to produce electricity will begin to produce electricity on a scale that can quadruple what we have already. In another 1 year, we can be discussing 30,000, 40,000 megawatts of electricity. But as long as that electricity generation and transmission remains in that exclusive list, such that only the federal government can generate electricity and give to everybody, we remain where we are. As it is for electricity, so it is for petroleum products. Every time they go to another increment, they're just contemplating one now, if not for NSAS that might resume. Of course, they already said that petroleum products, that fuel is landing at 300 and something thousand, 300 something naira for 1 liter. The only reason we are paying 10 times what we should be paying for fuel is that refineries are not exclusive list. As long as that constitution stands, prices of petroleum products will go up every time. And if that item is removed from the exclusive list, I tell you, there are 1 million, options for processing crude and making available to everybody. The corruption we're talking about, that same constitution, puts in place things that enable it. The matter of infrastructure, all of the roads that connect, you see how the roads in the country, the railways, the ports, the airports that are not there. Again, that exclusive list is responsible. The elections that never go right. Elections to federal and state offices president, governor, senator, House of Assembly are all on that exclusively, so that only INEC in Abuja can conduct election to all the offices. And so, no matter what you vote, no matter what you try to do, it is who they want that become your governor, your president. Your votes don't count in this circumstance. But the worst of it, the matter of security, arms and ammunition. I want everybody to listen carefully. Arms and ammunition, in fact, that's the first item on the exclusively. Those arms and ammunition means that only the federal government can touch guns and bullets, such that no matter how terrible things become in the states and around the country, the governors cannot license you for one rifle. No governor in Nigeria, because some people say, oh, let's set up a vigilante. Let us set up a state security apparatus. By which weapon, by which gun are the governors going to enforce or equip those who are being set up as vigilante? So it is a matter of ignorance. It's a matter of not knowing for people to think that, oh, governor is chief security officer. He's not doing enough. The governor does not have the authority under this constitution to license one rifle. And what is that vigilante that will be waiting for herdsmen be using? So when they go to Asaba, the governors, when they go to Asaba to declare that they're going to ban open grazing, those who are coming with the cows have AK-47. The governors cannot license even a pistol. If anybody is found with any pistol that is given to him by the governor, that person carrying that pistol can be shot to death by the Nigerian security, operatives. Yes. If it is a rifle, you can be shot from half a mile for being found with a rifle that Nigerian federal government did not give to you. So no matter what you plan, no matter how complex it is, no matter how much you desire, you cannot find any answer to insecurity as long as that constitution is standing, because the federal government of Nigeria is now in the hands of the Fulani. They have the Federation of Nigeria was hijacked by the federal government of Nigeria. The Fulani has hijacked that federal government. And so across all the agencies that bear arms, whether you talk about the police or the army or the immigration or the customs or civil defense or even prisons, every NIA, all the agencies that carry arms in Nigeria are in the exclusive control of the Fulani, because the federal government, which has been hijacked by the Fulani, is in exclusive control under this constitution of all those arms. You see how it connects. So yes, no matter where you are in Nigeria, all the guns to be used in your community, somebody that is Fulani is in charge of how they have to be used. So if bandits or herdsmen or Boko Haram or any of the numerous mutations turn up in your community, there's nobody that is from that state, including your governor, that is able to, on his own authority as governor, get guns to give to you to defend yourself. So as long as that constitution is there, you are just waiting for your turn to be killed. And that's why we say, if insecurity is flowing from that constitution, if infrastructural decay is flowing from that constitution, if corruption is flowing from that constitution, why do you go to renew the life of that constitution? Because the only comparison we can find for it is the apartheid constitution of South Africa, in which the Boers were the owners of the land, having confiscated it from the original owners, the Blacks. And imagine at the time Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Governor Mbeki, Walter Sisulu were working hard. Imagine in the 80s, 85, 88, 89, that people who had been struggling to topple the apartheid constitutional order, the union of master and servant, now come across Black people who have been, who have been persuaded by the Boers to come and become part of how to manage the apartheid constitution, to come and contest the election so that the apartheid constitution could survive. That is what Kingsley Moghalu and all of those who are inviting people, young people, to come to renew the life of that constitution in 2023 are doing. The 1999 constitution is the source of the misery, the source of the death. Let us ask those who are inviting us to 2023 election. By what constitution will the winner govern? By what constitution will the winner govern? Because whatever happens, whether it's the PDP that wins, or APC that wins, or ABGA that wins, or Young People's Party that wins, everything we have in that constitution will remain in place because the winner will have to swear to govern, uphold, and defend, to govern by, uphold, and defend the 1999 Constitution. He can't take office if he has not taken that oath. And once he takes that oath, the 36 states we have, which is the upside position from the federation we're supposed to be, remain. All of those things that ensure corruption, all of those things that ensure the killings that are happening to us, all of those things that ensure the infrastructure decay, all of those things that ensure the quota system and the mediocrity that are taking center stage will remain in place. So let the young people ask Kingsley Moghalu, by what constitution will you govern if you win? Let him tell them how he's going to turn the 36 states into the 4 regions we have. Let him tell them how he's going to enable electricity generation and transmission. Let him tell them how he's going to enable the construction, the infrastructural development that is being impeded by that exclusive list. Let him tell them what he's going to do about the false claim that we, the people, submitted ourselves into this misery, into this union of death. If he does not answer, they should stop him wherever they see him. If they see anything coming from his party and all the other political parties, let anybody not tell you that it is young people coming. They are deceived. They are taking advantage of the ignorance that they've planted among the young people. They think, you can remember while we were going to 2019, we had gone about mobilizing young people into realizing that the reason they are in their situation is that that constitution is the way it is. They were coming along. Suddenly, somebody introduced a bill they called the not too young to run kind of thing. And somehow they managed, among all the burning issues, they managed to rewrite it through the National Assembly. It became law. It became something that the president had to sign. They took it to him, he signed it. And young people were called up to say, oh, yeah, you see, you are the one with the knowledge. Go and make yourself available, take power and repair the country. The young people thought they were telling them the truth. 91 political parties, did I say 91 political parties were registered? And these young people, not knowing that they were being hoodwinked, went about trying to get forms. Everybody had one political platform or the other to, go to get a form. Some wanted to go to House of Assembly, others wanted to get to the Federal House, and all of that, just to take them away from the road to salvation into the road to perdition. At the end of the day, the elections came. Was it not between PDP and APC that everything happened? Where were the rest of the 89 political parties? ABGA, that was supposed to be even the third in the hierarchy, did not present a candidate because the controllers of ABGA had gone to submit themselves to some APC, and it was just a scam that not too young to run. These young people, we challenge them. NINAS challenges them. The LNC is prepared. The media in Nigeria, the media from everywhere in the world, we challenge you to bring those people who are talking about 2023 election under the constitution that ensures death, that ensures backwardness, that ensures calamity for everybody. We challenge you to bring them to the stage so that we can have a debate with them on what they're going to be able to do in the face of that constitution to turn around the things that are happening to Nigerians. Nigeria is one concern. Nigerians are another concern.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are saying, those who want to save the Nigerian Union are prepared to sacrifice the Nigerians that are trapped in that union of death. As long as this constitution is in place, it is a union of death. And we're saying the matter is quite simple. This constitution is responsible for everything. And that we challenge them, anything that is your complaint in Nigeria, we will point to you the section of the constitution that is responsible for it. For which,
right,
if that constitution does not go down, it remains in for all times.
Thank you, Mr.
Everything flows from the constitution.
Yes.
Only by elections is the life of that constitution renewed every 4 years. That's the second point. Third point, only political parties contest elections. And therefore, no matter what anybody is doing, all of the political parties subscribe to that constitution. That's why they contest elections under it. In which case, anybody that wins, whether it's PDP or ABGA or Young People's Party, will have to swear to govern by that constitution. So you are back to where you started. No matter what else they tell you in between,
going around and
they are lying to you.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Tony, we're going to just leave it there for now. Thank you so much for that. The second, because we're running out of time, and I really want us to hit all these points before we go. If there are people, if there are members of the people that are watching us wherever you are all around the world, if you have some questions, please raise your hand on the Zoom. If you're part of the Zoom meeting, you can raise your hand and we will take 1 or 2 questions. If you're watching me on my Instagram live as well and you have some questions, please feel free to put it on there as well. And then where you're watching us from Facebook, again, all over the social media platforms, feel free to drop a question or a comment, and we might be able to take 1 or 2. Another question, quickly, Mr. Tony, that we have.
Yeah.
Now, we know the youth, he has specifically spoken to us and he has told us the reason why we don't have light, we can't generate electricity. I remember when we were growing up, we used to insult NEPA people a lot. Sometimes you see the people in our areas, they will take sticks and stones and the NEPA man climbs up the pole and they're waiting for them to come down and all of that. We shout, God punish NEPA and all of it. It's not NEPA. NEPA is not the problem. NEPA is not your problem. The 1999 Constitution, it's the problem because the generation of electricity is on that exclusive list, federal exclusive list that we're talking about. So we cannot generate electricity. So the moment we start to, break this down and let people know, we go to the grassroots, the market women, everyone to say, we don't have light because this is the problem and all of that. And Mr. Tony, even Dr. Rania has honed in on those points. So very quickly, Mr. Tony Nadi, what can we do as members of the Lower Niger Congress and NINAS Alliance to ensure that this does not happen? What do I mean by this? 2023 does not happen. What can we do? Address us as the youth. What can we do? Please, just a few minutes on this question. Thank you.
The future of the youth in Nigeria has been mortgaged by all of those who are inviting the youth to another round of election to renew the constitution that made them slaves in their land. And so their own responsibility, every one young person who can read and write should please find a way, get on with the website of NINAS, Lower Niger Congress, that is www.ninasffn.org, ninasffn.org, or www.lowernigercongress.org. Get on it, read that proclamation of December 16th, so you can see exactly what we are asking you to do. The political parties, from that 5-point logic of this constitution is responsible for all your woes, only political parties contest elections. All the political parties subscribe to that constitution. Whoever wins is going to have to swear to govern by and defend that constitution. To that extent, if you want to get out, if you want to get out of the union of debt, out of the misery you are trapped in now under that constitution in this country, the thing to do is to stop the political parties from dragging us to a renewal round, another round of renewal in 2023. And I tell us, if we refuse to do that, those who impose that constitution, and that is where we come back to this map, the people from the Caliphate, the Fulani, and their Kanuri Kampotapas, and the British sponsors, they are, the constitution by which they are holding us hostage has been defeated. The only chance they have now is to throw power to us, Tinubu candidate, or some Mogalo candidate in the East, the Igbo and the Yoruba to go and start fighting over who will be president under the constitution that give the Fulani 72% of everything that Nigeria owns. 72% of everything that's on the table, whether the money that is being shared in Abuja, or the power to vote in the National Assembly over any issue, or the power to anything at all that is of benefit available in Nigeria, the Fulani own it 72% under the constitution they impose. And so we have challenged that constitution, we have repudiated that constitution, and they're trying to save the life of that constitution because the union that they think is that belongs to them is being done away with. And so their last breath is whether they take us to election in 2023 to infuse life back to that constitution. But if we want to escape into safety, we owe it a duty right now to stop the journey to 2023. The young people of Nigeria, if you want life, if you don't want death, stop all of those who are inviting you to elections in 2023. Let the political parties close shop, whether they are PDP or APC or ABGA or Young People's Party, they are all the same because they subscribe to the apartheid constitution 99, which guarantees your death, guarantees your misery, guarantees everything terrible that you complain about now, whether it's NSAS or electoral malfeasance, everything you've complained about, corruption. If you want to go to 2023 election, you are saying it's okay to come to kill us some more. You are saying it's okay for infrastructure to remain the way it is. You are saying it's okay for corruption to grow the way it's growing. That is what the young people can do now. If they do not do it, those who are holding this country together under that constitution are going to get to their doorstep with AK-47. If you do not want to fight your cousin who is inviting you to come and vote for him, or your niece who wants to be president, you have to get ready to contend with Fulani, herdsmen, bandits, Boko Haram, whatever they call themselves, when they get to your doorstep with AK-47. They're only trying to buy some more time to continue their onslaught.
Okay.
If you want to leave, stop the journey to 2023 inside, not boycott, inside 2021. If by the close of July, the young people in Nigeria have not stopped the voyage to 2023, then they are preparing to get killed. That's what it is.
Thank you, Mr. Tony, for that. My final question, please, 2 minutes on this. How do we have gotten people come to ask me between now and 2023 with the carnage that's going on, with the insecurity that's happening all around the country, how do we protect ourselves within our territories against any violence or bribery if we do decide to stand our ground? How do we do that as the youth?
By the proclamation of December 16th, 2020, the 1999 Constitution, under which Nigeria is convened and governed, 2 items. If anybody wants to understand what we're saying, go to the preamble. Call up the 1999 Constitution on the net. Just Google it down. get to the preamble and see the claim that we, the people, submitted ourselves to all of this, and therefore we made the constitution. Everything inside that constitution takes its bearing from that claim that we, the people, agreed to be in 36 states. We, the people, agreed to be in this union. We, the people, agreed that the people in government house will have the spare key to the treasury. We, the people, agree that they will have blanket immunity. We can't question them why they're stealing, whether they kill people. And so that claim applies to everything we're complaining about. The Niger Delta, that preamble translates to we the Jaw, we the Ogoni, we the Ishekiri, agree that our oil and gas should belong to Jigawa, because that is what that exclusive list that puts oil and gas means. So if that preamble applies to every single provision in that constitution. If it is quota system, we're saying that we, the people, agree that the worst amongst us should be in charge of our lives, that those who have excellence should be put behind, and those who bring mediocrity should be put in charge. So in all of that, we are saying that it is a choice to be made now, that we tell ourselves that we can't continue like this.
Okay.
We can't continue like this. And so the action we need to take is to say, all of those who are inviting us to election are inviting us to renew our damnation under that constitution, and we will not accept to do that. And it is the political parties, since they're the only ones who contest elections, not the candidates, like we saw in the Majeure case. The political parties are the ones that contest elections. The political parties are the ones we have to, whatever we have to do with them, whether it is boxing or wrestling or any kind of altercation, we must stop them now. We must tell them they can't continue to pretend they're going to do anything differently from what the Constitution stipulates, because they can't do anything outside what the Constitution. You saw how many times Buhari quoted the Constitution for us. He says, acting within the Constitution. If he appoints all the Fulani to everywhere, he says, acting within the Constitution. You saw when Malami told the governor in Ondo that the people who are in their forest are entitled under that Constitution to, so that Constitution is the enabler of everything. And it is within our reach as the owners of the sovereignty to stop the renewal of the life of that Constitution.
Thank you so much.
If we don't do it, we're just inviting more of what we're seeing now. Everything else is a lie.
That's right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony Nadi, we're going to leave it there for now. We do have our third guest. He is a youth, a prominent youth in our society as well. And Mr. Oludayo Shokumbi, I want you to come on, please, and talk to the youth, from our own eyes, from our own perspective, as the future of Nigeria. If you can please come on and speak to us about our call to action. What should that be? Because if you remember, during the EndSARS, there were a lot of, when everything, went, the way it did, went awry, there were a lot of people that came together to say that the reason why EndSARS wasn't as successful as it could have been was because we didn't have a plan, was because there wasn't really like an agenda. Like we didn't really demand things, credible things that we could run with, right? So at this point, we're coming again, there's the agitations all over the place, and there are people, people that are coming out to say either they want to be a Yoruba nation or they want to be a donation, or we're fighting for our self-determination in our ancestral. What should our message be collectively? If we're going on the streets, if we're going out for a peaceful protest or for rallies, and we're saying, the youth are saying we've had enough. Because again, all over social media, everywhere you see it, people are saying, Mumu don't reach. What are we doing? What should be our collective message right now, right? This is not EndSARS. This is what we're not going to 2023 elections. This is our call to action. But there might be other ones. How should we put it together? So, Oludayo, if you can please unmute yourself, and if you are here, for the next few minutes, please, because I have one or two questions and we're actually running out of time. I have one or two questions here on social media that I would like for us to answer. If you are there, please unmute yourself, and if you can just talk to us a little bit about what our call to action should be moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you, Akuche. Thank you, Dr. Tony Nadi. Thank you very much. Going by what's happening now, the only thing I can tell every youth is to first download the 1999 Constitution and read. Because, you know, the problem with the youth, I'm also a youth, is that most of us, we always flow with wherever we can get something that we put in our mouth. An average youth does not understand the Nigerian Constitution. An average youth does not understand how Nigeria works. An average youth just wants to fulfill immediate gratification and then move forward. I have the opportunity to be sending I post a lot of opportunities on social media about admission and scholarships abroad for students and for people in Nigeria. And I do a lot of stuff for people, but I discovered that even with the information I share for free, people don't read. That's the point. So the problem, it's a big issue, because you cannot convince someone that Nigeria needs restructuring if he doesn't understand what exactly the problem is. You see, most of the youth, most of my friends, let me just dive this in. I did my master's degree in Saudi Arabia. I'm a Christian, but I did my master's in Saudi because that was where I got my scholarship. So I met a lot of northern friends. I stayed all my life in Lagos, so I don't know about North until I saw one or two of my friends. And whenever we discuss politics in cafeteria, they always tell me, they say, that don't disturb yourself. This country has been ruled. This country is structured in a way that we did not will continue to rule forever. I looked at him and said, what? He said that I'm not saying that it is good, but that is the way we met it. He told me. He said, as much as I'm not comfortable with it, that's the way I met it. The way Nigeria is structured is very simple. The North will continue to rule while the South continue with their exploration, the education, and all of it. So that's the way it is. If North is not in support of anything, it's almost impossible for anyone to become something important in Nigeria. I looked at him. I said, what? He said, yes. He said, he said, I am learned. That's why I know that this is not bad. This is not supposed to be. But unfortunately, there's little to what I can do. You know, so an average northerner, and that's why I always tell people, you don't need to hate anybody. Anybody listening to me, please, do not hate anyone. It is not anybody. We should blame people who caused this force merger, that, like you said. So everybody will just ride on what he or she is. And average Nigerians just want to be okay. So the first thing, like you said, the call to action is let everybody understand what is in the Constitution. Is there a way we can do it? I mean, if everybody understands what the problem is, everybody will find a solution automatically. That's the point. Because if you convince somebody that 2023 election should not hold, the person will just look at you. I'm a youth. Guy, what are you talking about? What do you do? What do you mean that 2023 election should not hold? That's the Constitution of Nigeria. Ask the person what are the components of the Constitution of Nigeria. The person does not know. Yeah, so recently I've been reading about the Constitution of Nigeria, and I'm seeing a lot of things. As Dr. Caliphate is saying, as the Mr. Tony Tree is talking, the Constitution is right here with me. The preamble you are talking about, let me read it. We, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in unity and harmony as one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign nation under God, dedicated to the promotion. I just look at everything. I say, so Mr. Day inside this thing. I signed this thing. So I just look at it. When I say the we is big, so it means that either I'm aware of the issue or not. I'm under it. I've signed it. My generation has signed it.
Yes.
So when we look at it holistically, we will see that there's absolutely nothing anybody can do to make any change until we fight the root of the problem. But unfortunately, an average Nigerian is looking for what to eat now, so he does not even think about all these things you are talking about. He will tell you that, guy, now because you don't chop, now person will chop, go to read Constitution. You know, so that's exactly my major headache. Having to educate people to know exactly what they should do. Look at what just happened some few days about the Twitter ban. It affected those of us that used to tweet about scholarship abroad, because many people could not even get access to what we post again.
Yes.
You know, and unfortunately, people were saying, I'm sure everybody saw the thing. They said we were giving 1,000 to support Buhari. I was so ashamed. Very young, vibrant. It's not their fault. Because those guys, some of them are looking for what to eat. So it's a big problem, honestly. If we are determined to everybody should know the root of the problem. Because let me just tell you, I'm a Yoruba person. From what everybody has said, let me pick up biases. My first bias, like anybody could think, if he doesn't understand what you guys are discussing, is that these guys have an ulterior motive. That's what they will tell you. They will say these guys have ulterior motive. How would they say that we should cancel the Constitution of Nigeria? What do they mean? You know, because they don't understand what you are saying. Yeah. And because most of the names here, I can see a lot of Igbo people, they will say they are so indirectly doing their own faction.
Yes.
Can you see the biases now? So I'm talking as an average youth, but because I understand, I wouldn't think this way. So orientation is a big problem in Nigeria as a whole. If we can find a way to sensitize people on how to even understand what the problem is, I think the problem is half solved.
Let me quickly come in there. Oludare, sorry to cut you. Let me quickly come in there. So the way, with everything you just explained, which is really insightful. What if did you hear how I broke it down the first time? When for me, all these years growing up, I thought NEPA was our problem, right? You will see a NEPA man and somebody will run and say, oh, NEPA is coming. People have released their dogs to bite NEPA people. People have done all manner of things to NEPA people. Some of them have, been attacked in horrible ways, because we thought, including myself, I was ignorant of the fact that I thought the problem is with NEPA. People have gone and burnt NEPA offices because they think NEPA is the problem. But now we know better. If we to go to the average Nigerian, average youth that doesn't understand, they don't have the time to go and be reading Constitution and all of that. But maybe we just focus on, for example, the 68 item exclusive list.
Yeah.
Focus on that. We may not even need to take all of them. We can just take 1 or 2 or 3, the ones that really affect us. To say, for example, NEPA. We don't have NEPA in Nigeria. We cannot generate electricity in Lagos State because it is the federal government, controls the power to do that exclusively. So even if it's a state like Enugu who produces coal can generate electricity for themselves, they cannot. Because the federal government controls that. So what if we can break it down that way, right? That this is don't you think that might, go a little bit further than, with some of these people that, some of our youth that don't really understand, instead of going and breaking down the whole Constitution? That's one. Secondly, I saw somewhere online, how we always say, we too, they like to catch crews for this country. Some people say, no, we know that these politicians are this and that. We will take their money, but we will still not vote for them. Right? Can you speak a little bit to that? Just 2 minutes, because we really need to round up now, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Before Dayo goes on, Dayo, hold on 1 second. So we can establish a connection.
Yes.
That preamble, between the preamble and that exclusive list, and a few other things in between. Everything, that preamble that says, we the people solemnly resolve to live in unity, is saying that we the Yoruba people, having discussed with the John, the Ogoni, the Fulani, the Tiv, the Bero, the Igbo, have chosen to submit our lands and our people into this union. Then it goes further down to say, we do hereby make and give unto ourselves the following constitution. So we are now defining how we want to live in that union. So every single provision in that constitution is taking its roots from that foundational agreement that Yoruba had decided to submit itself, that Ijaw had decided to submit itself and its oil and gas assets to Jigawa to own everything you see in the constitution. So that is one part. And that exclusive list in which no matter how well-intentioned you are not going to be able to do anything that that constitution does not permit. So if Fulani people from Senegal and Mali and wherever turn up at your doorstep in Ibarakwa, in Abeokuta, that constitution says you agree not to carry arms. Absolutely. That is what that exclusive list means, because taking it from that preamble that we all agree to live like this according to these rules that we are making by ourselves. So is it Yoruba that agree to submit themselves to Nigeria that will be governed by the Fulani in this manner, in which they can be killed at will at the pleasure of the Fulani? Is it the Ijaw that submitted their oil and gas to be owned by people in Jigawa, and for Ijaw to be killed at will by people from Sokoto in their ancestral homes in that manner? So let us understand it clearly that if we do not see the connection between what is contained in that constitution and what is happening to us, we are going to continue to renew that constitution by the foolishness of thinking that the election will bring a taller person to come, and you can't fetch water with basket. That constitution is like the basket they used to bring tomato from Jos. Can anybody fetch water with it? Buhari is tall. Can he fetch water with basket? No. Ngige is short. If he wants to be president, can he fetch water with basket? No. No matter who you bring. Babangida was there, he failed. Everybody that came failed because the constitution set the rules, and it is alleged that we, the people, agreed to it. We are only now taking action to say we never did. That's what this constitutional force majeure is all about. Young people, hear it now. Your future has been mortgaged, sold by people who go to collect 50, 60 million every month. It is not by bringing some of you to come and join them that will solve the problem. This message goes directly to people like Showore. By what constitution are you going to govern if you do not settle the question of constitution before going to election? Let everybody stop those who are trying to drag them to election as people who want to drag them to death. Dayo, you can go on.
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much. Carry on, Dayo.
So exactly, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I think that I'm a very practical person. So let me give you some snippets from my mind. I think that is there a way to the 68 exclusive list? Is there a way to present it in something fancy like a card or something on social media, such that it can be summarized and then people can check it? Because an average youth, I post a lot of information on scholarship. If I post a lot, my guys will not read it. But if it is short, they will read it and comment. So I have an idea. Is there a way we can just present the 68 exclusive list and put it on social media in snippets, just 1, 2, 3 lines, just put it there on first day, second day, third day, fourth day, just put it like that, and then let people decide for themselves, and then put the links from the Nigerian government website. It's not from any private website, such that they may say that it can be manipulated. I'm speaking as a youth. I'm speaking from what we youth think. So if that can be done from the Nigerian government website, those 68 exclusive lists, put it in something so fancy and put it on social media, let Nigerians see and let them judge for themselves. Simple. Is this thing making sense? I assure you,
Dayo, that will be done within 1 week from today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The specifics.
Those
from that preamble, you will be shocked. You will be shocked at what you have in black and white. Dayo, are you aware that the government of Nigeria does not owe you any obligations at all, including for welfare, including for security, including for education, including for healthcare, in black and white? There's a section 6, subsection 6C, absolve the government of all obligations towards you. The appropriation provisions give them the spare key to the treasury to take everything in the treasury and do with it whatever they like. You can't question them with the blanket immunity they have in section 308. Challenge all the lawyers you see. Ask them whether under section 6, subsection 6C, the government owes you any obligation at all. So if they do not owe you any obligation, why are people going about talking about what government must do when the Constitution absolves them of obligations in black and white? Section 6, subsection 6C. All the things that accrue to you as a Nigerian is in chapter 2. Yeah. Your right to this, your benefits of that, everything that goes to you as under the social contract that the Constitution is liquidated, nullified by that section 6, subsection 6C. Young people challenge the lawyers, especially the noisy ones that go about telling you how they can, how things can turn better. Ask them whether the government owes you any obligation under that section 6, subsection 6C that suspends, that nullifies the entire chapter 2. Every good thing of life is listed for you. Equal treatment, equal opportunity, right to welfare. You see some senior advocates go to TV to say the primary function of government is welfare and security of the citizen. They won't tell you that that same constitution in section 6, subsection 6C, nullified the entire chapter 2. So you do not have that expectation. They do not owe you the duty of welfare. They do not owe you the duty of security. They do not owe you the duty of equal treatment and all of that. That is just at the starting point. Then the matter of the contents of the treasury, the corruption we complain about. Section 81 says that the president must go to National Assembly. I'm being specific now. You can ask the lawyers. Anybody who tells you anything different, call them out so that we can disgrace them on national TV. It doesn't matter whether they are professors of law. It doesn't matter whether they're senior advocates. It doesn't matter whether they're justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. All of them, and all of those who swear to defend and uphold our constitution, but who do not care about what is written in the document they swear to defend and uphold, document that bring death to their constituents, because it gives them money. You see where the problem is?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wrap it up, please. Wrap it up, please.
Yeah. So I'm trying to wrap up. So I'm just bringing practical solutions to it. Yes. Let people know exactly the nitty-gritty of the 68 exclusive list and some summaries in the constitutions. If youth are exposed to these things, nobody will tell us to know what to do. When the NSAS came, it was clear that police brutality is getting too much. People were dying. So it was clear the youth are being affected. So inadvertently, we are able to just bring ourselves up and then we're able to do something. So youth do not need people to say, do this, do it. No, just give us, open up the secrets to us. Just leave everything to us. It's as simple as that.
That's right.
That's the way to get the minds of youth.
I want to quickly say something before I come back to you, Dio. Now I know why you're a PhD scholar. Oh my goodness, that is brilliant. You know what I mean? Yeah. That is absolutely brilliant, because this, and when you say, you are part of us now, I hope you know that, but we will have that discussion after this program. We need to mobilize. You and I need to come together. We need to talk. We are part of the Alliance. We're part of NINAS. We're part of the Lower Niger Congress. This is our future. Because all these politicians and all these people that are like Mualu are dragging us to the election, their children are abroad. Let it be known today that their children are abroad. They are not going to be here to face this problem. When they leave everything in rot, we are the ones that suffer it. So as much as people are hungry right now, and they want a quick fix. 10,000 naira here, 20,000, 500,000 or no, it will finish. We are talking about a situation whereby we can stand together as a nation, owning the resources of our land to be able to make our place inhabitable. How can Nigeria, with all the wealth of knowledge, with all the resources, become poverty capital of the world. It's shameful. It is shameful. We need to come out and say this. We need to use the power of social media. We need to start to say this. So I really I wanted to just make that point out, Dio, that I really, appreciate that point, that we can't make it so bigger, because, we have to break it down little by little, use it in like snippets, bring it out every day, post this. This is, the 68 item list, and let people know. And like you said, the youth are too smart. Look at what they did in how many days. They brought down Adamu Garba's app after they banned Twitter, and he tried to impose that app on us, right? So the youth have the power. They are very smart people. They're very resourceful. They just need to be guided. They just need to know what direction are we going, and then let's run with it. So I just wanted to, quickly chip that in right there. This is it. We're rounding up, guys. We have been on this for over an hour. It's been so beautiful. I just want one last word from everyone. And I will start with you, Dio, because we're already there. And then I will move to Mr. Tony Nadi. And then last person would be Dr. Irania. I had seen somebody raise a hand up, had questions, but I don't see that hand raised anymore. I wanted to take a question. There was one here on my Instagram. There's a couple, but I can only take one now because of time. It says, what other measures are we going to take to make sure that the youth are properly guided and not bribed by any political party? Dio just answered that question. That's it. I feel like that's the answer to that question already. We have to break it down to let people know that this is the problem. Honing in on the 68 item exclusive list. Break it down, use our social media powers, spread this message, let it go like wildfire. The way NSAS, happened, it was just here and there, little by little, so that when we march, when we're on the streets, when we're out there protesting, peacefully protesting, or at a rally, we know what we are saying. We are saying we are done with this. The Constitution, we have brought it down, but we need to enforce that by not going into 2023 elections. And that should be on the mouth of everyone, every youth within the NINAS Alliance. So, Dio, one last word from you, please. And I move to Mr. Tony Nadi, and then I move to Dr. Irania, so we can wrap this up. We will be, this is not a one-time show. We are here on Volley Media, but we will be broadcasting. For now, we're starting off with 3 days a week, and hopefully we will get that increased as time goes on. So there will be another broadcast by one of us on Sunday. There will be another one on Wednesday, and then by God's grace, I'll be back here again on Friday, and we will continue to talk about this, to dive deep, to answer your questions, because this is our voice. This is the voice of the ethnic nationalities. It's not an Akuche show. It's not a Mr. Nadi show. It's for all of us. We come out together and we speak, because God has given us the mandate, and by His will and by His grace, we will achieve our freedom. So one last word, Mr. Oludayo, please take it away. Just under 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just posted something on Twitter now while we were talking. I said, recently I'm taking my time to read Nigerian constitution, looking at what Nigeria is currently going through. I now see clearly that the problem, restructuring cannot solve it. Look at what the youth are saying. Somebody said that any soft copy for us here. Somebody said I would definitely like to peruse it. Sir, if you have any soft copy for us, could you please send it to me? You see the problem I'm saying? If you tell a youth something, he will not find it. He will not. I am a youth, so I know. I just did test now. I said something, I tested it now online on Twitter. People will not read. But if you put it small like this and you put caption, they will react to it.
Oh, and by the way, I just want to say that Oludayo has about 37,000 Twitter followers. That is the power now. We have the power, and we're starting. But you see, you just did a tweet under seconds. People, that is the power of social media. We need to utilize that. Let me take it back to you, please.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's point number one. Point number two is, please, when we should be able to. The only problem I have with Nnamdi Kanu is that I don't like the method he's using. I like his idea. I like his mindset. But I don't like the method. Honestly, I want Biafra to go. I'm a Yoruba person. I know what happened to Biafra. but I don't like the way Nnamdi Kanu. So we have to be very careful not to present this association as something that you want to go, something that want to go against the government or something, because most youth will not understand. Mr. Tony Nnamdi, I watched about 4 or 5 of your videos, and that's why I'm here, because I now realize exactly what you are talking about. You said something. You said that what you are telling the government is that the government should still retain the constitution, but sit down at the table and then look at what you are talking about. That's a very smart idea. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody just wants to scatter it. We want to scatter everything. But I like the idea you said. We are not saying that this thing should go. We are saying that still oppose to what you are doing, but let's look at this thing. It's not working. Irrespective of whoever comes to the government, it will not work, irrespective of our prayers. So that's why I'm joining. That's why I like this idea. This is an entirely new idea for me, an idea that will not destroy the existing structure, but is bringing something to the table, and we are not involving fight. We are not doing anything against the existing constitution, and that's why I like this group. That's perfect. So I commend this group. I've been looking for an association like this where people can do things the right way.
We are a movement. Yes, we are a movement. It's not so much as an association. We're a movement, and I know that we're still learning. This was very, very last minute. You're still learning a lot about what we stand for and who we are, and you and I will speak a little bit more about that and how everything came about, where we are, where we're going. And I know you already have a little bit of insight towards that. But I just want to let you know that from something that you said now, the Constitution, we know that that's the source of our problem, right? And we are pulling it down. We've already done that by the declaration of the constitutional force majeure. And what we're now saying to the federal government is, come and sit down with us and let us draft, let us come at like the transitioning, right? Because we, like Mr. Tony said, we're not anarchists. We're not saying that, everything is just going to happen overnight. Fine. Buhari and the rest of them, they can leave out this tenure, but we're saying that at the end of it, it is done. Let us start now to sit down so that there can be a smooth transitioning, because if we don't talk about it now, if we don't try to resolve it now like human beings and civilized people, the matter will resolve itself on the streets. That's what we're saying. So I just want to, I think I'm going to hang it there for with everything you've said, Tony. Anything you said, Ludayo. I really appreciate you coming on. It was so last minute for you to come on board, and you did. You sacrificed your time, and you came on board, and you're already giving us such insightful and brilliant ways of how we're going to reach the youth. And I really appreciate you for that, and I will reach out to you in a little while, and then we can go further. So thank you so much for being here. I just want to move quickly to Mr. Nnamdi for one final word, and then we will move to Dr. Rania, and we will round up. Thank you so much, Obadiah.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. The matter is quite simple, straightforward. We have, like doctors will do, the diagnosis of the ailment of Nigeria right now is unworkable constitutional arrangement. The prescription is take down the 1999 constitution and end the unitary union of death. The treatment, stop the renewal. Let those who want to drag us to election be stopped by anybody who can stop them. If you're not stopping them, they are taking you straight to the slaughter. Those who impose that constitution are already upon us, trying to take our lands, trying to kill everybody who owned it before. And Fulani from Senegal and Bali and everywhere, our borders have been thrown open. If anybody doesn't understand that, every other thing is deception. They are intent. They are bent on taking your land and killing you off. That constitution is the mechanism by which they're able to do that. The owners of the land must stand up now and say, our signature cannot be used to give life for to the document of our damnation. And so going to the transition we're talking about, we're saying, like South Africa did with apartheid constitution, they solved the same problem we're trying to solve now by going into a transition. In 1990, a president elected under that constitution made an announcement, Frederick de Klerk, says, we can't go any further with this constitution that has brought our society to ruins. Nigeria is under ruins now because of that constitution. Anybody who has ever sworn to defend and uphold that constitution is the enemy we are looking for. Anybody who is, let us assume that they were ignorant before now. Anybody who is prepared to swear to defend and uphold that constitution is the enemy that we must pursue right now. And we're not talking about boycott. We're saying right now, the political parties that are calling us to come and join them, Yahaya Bello and lunatics like him, let the young people ask him, by which constitution are you going to govern? How are you going to get us electricity with this exclusive list? How are you going to get us equal treatment with this quota system? How are you going to get us the people that say they are fed up with Nigeria, the ones who want Biafra, the ones who want Odua Republic? You said that they submitted themselves into the union. They are saying, we have not met. We've not done any such thing. You don't want to call a meeting at which they can begin to agree to remain in union. And you want to drag them, to say that Nigeria is non-negotiable, indissoluble. Who told you there's something called the right to self-determination? The right available to us. This constitution was imposed in negation of our right to self-determination. And so the remedy available to the Yoruba today, the remedy available to the Ijaw today, the remedy available to the Igbo today is called self-determination. Whether they want 100% of autonomy should be matter for referendum. Whether they're satisfied with 80% autonomy, in which they're talking about confederation, is matter for referendum. But all of those who are dissatisfied with what Nigeria is for today, whether they are only looking for good governance or rule of law, or even what is it called, resource control or restructuring or Odua or Biafra, everything begins with taking the constitution that locked them down into this union out of the way. We go into transition. We're not anarchists. We say we offer a transition that accommodates existing governance structure. So we don't go to Somalia because we're running away from Nigeria. Let us seize the opportunity and solve this problem. Because if we don't, those who are choking do not owe anybody any particular good behavior. They're going to do whatever. And when I mean whatever, I mean, when I say whatever, I mean whatever, to get themselves out of the union that is surely a union of death for them, a union of backwardness, a union of attrition.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Nadi. Thank you. We will leave it there and we'll move to Dr. Rania. Please, one last word for everyone watching you from all over the world, the youth, the fellow members of the NINAS Alliance. What word are you going to leave us with today that would resonate with us as we are moving closer to our freedom from Nigeria? Please take it away, Dr. Rania.
Thank you very much. Again, I appreciate you having me on this platform. Let me say one thing before the final word. And that one thing I want to say is this. If you are watching me anywhere you are in the world, either live or even after the program, just go to section 215, subsection 4. I repeat, section 215, subsection 4. What that section says is that your governor, why I'm saying this is because we all, at least we belong to a particular state. I am called Imo State. You have somebody else from maybe Anambra, Osun, Oyo, Ebonyi, like that. What the section is saying that your governor cannot give any directive to any police officer, and that police officer will obey without going back to take approval from Abuja, from the General of Police or the President. Why am I saying this? Is that there is nothing your governor can do. Your governor cannot help you security-wise. So having said that, let me say the final word I have for our people. Dear youth, my dear youth, listen to what I'm going to say now. The life of the Constitution the Union of Nigeria, every time there is a federal election, you cannot, if you are from Oduduwa or the Southwest, Oduduwa nation can never be realized as long as the 1999 Constitution is in existence. If you are fighting for Biafra, as long as the 1999 Constitution is in existence, Biafra is an impossibility because of Section 2, subsection 1 of the Constitution. If you are from Niger Delta or from the Middle Belt, you can never realize your dream nation as long as the 1999 Constitution is in existence. And what keeps the 1999 Constitution in existence is election. As long as there is election coming up and that election holds, the Constitution is renewed. In 2003, the Constitution was renewed. In 2007, it was renewed. In 2011, it was renewed. In 2015, it was renewed. And just 2 years ago, in 2019, it was renewed. Will you allow the Constitution to be renewed again in 2023 just because Kingsley Moghalu is telling you that he will do better? It's a question for you to meditate upon. I leave it here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Iranya. Again, I'm really appreciative of you taking your time to come out here on this program and explain to us, explain to the youth, explain to the people why we need to close shop now. Parties need to close shop now. We cannot afford to move to 2023 elections within our alliance. You've seen by now, people have seen that even in the Yoruba or Oodua Republic, they are saying no elections in 2023 in our land. So we need to follow suit. We need to mobilize grassroots mobilization for the layman that doesn't understand what is this thing about this constitution. Why are we saying that this constitution is bad, or why do we not need to go into 2023? Because we are renewing our slavery to a union that a unitary system of government, a union that has no regard for us, that are killing us in our ancestral land, have taken away all our resources, and we are not able now to fend for ourselves. There's no security. We are seeing all the insecurities around different areas. We are seeing that. So we are calling everyone to join the NINAS Alliance. Let us come together, because only when we come together is when we can achieve, we can move forward. We can, this freedom is so close. I say to people, I can almost touch it. We are so close now. We need everyone, especially the youth. This message today is more geared towards the youth, because we are normally mostly the instruments that these political parties use when they want to, come for another election. But then, there were some short videos going around recently where politicians, you see them during the election or election period, they buy a corn from a corn seller, they sit down with the corn seller, but after that, you don't see them anymore. This is exactly what we are saying. If we, the only card they have left to play is the 2023 election. That's it. They know their time is up. That's why you're hearing all this, let us come together, let us restructure. No, we're saying no, you cannot renovate a house if the foundation is destroyed. The foundation of Nigeria is not standing, and it is destroyed because they lied on a document and said, we the people, we did not sign to be enslaved. So the earlier we get this message, the earlier we spread this message of hope, of truth to everyone, the closer we will get to our destination, which is freedom from Nigeria. And you can get more information from our websites, www.freedomfromnigeria.com and ninasffn.org. all the information that you seek will be on there. I just want to thank you all so much, everyone who joined us from all over the world on my Instagram live at Ayamakuche, on our Facebook, Volley Media Facebook, Volley Media YouTube, and on the Zoom. I thank my special guests. I thank Mr. Tony Nadi. I thank Dr. Irania, and I thank Oludayo Shokumbi for their time coming on here and enlightening us on what we need to do and the steps. Like I said, this is not a one-off program. We are here on Volley Media. We are the voice of the Lower Niger Congress. We will be here on Sunday. Our next broadcast will be on Sunday, June 20th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Homeland time. We encourage you all to keep this conversation alive by following us on all our social media platforms. And keep spreading this message of hope, the message of trust, and the message of truth. Thank you again for being with us. God bless you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.